that the perpetrators would be arrested, and brought to justice. The president urged residents to support security agencies with useful information while assuring affected communities of the federal government's commitment to strengthening security and restoring peace in the area. Kano State Police Command has rescued 10 passengers abducted by suspected bandits along the Jos-Kano Highway in Dogoa local government area, while efforts continue to free 3 remaining victims. The victims were traveling in a Toyota Hiace bus when armed attackers blocked the road, abducted 13 passengers and engaged responding police operatives in a gun battle. The officers forced the attackers to retreat, leading to the rescue operation. The rescued passengers have been taken to Dogoa General Hospital for medical attention and are in stable condition. Police say tactical teams have been deployed to track the fleeing suspects and secure the release of the remaining captives. Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, and the Nigeria Police Force have pledged to deepen intelligence sharing and collaboration to combat financial crimes and other security threats. NFIU Chief Executive Officer Hajiya Hafsat Bakari said this during a courtesy visit to the Inspector General Police Olatunji Disu at the force headquarters in Abuja. She said financial intelligence is key to tracing the proceeds of crimes, including terrorism, kidnapping, cybercrime, corruption, and organized crime.
Your Excellency, sir, as you are aware, Nigeria is preparing for its third round mutual evaluation scheduled for 2027. This assessment will go beyond the existence of laws and institutions. It will examine effectiveness. It will assess whether our agencies are working together, whether financial intelligence is being effectively utilized, whether money laundering and terrorist financing are being investigated in line with the country's risk profile, whether criminal assets are being identified and confiscated, and whether law enforcement agencies are achieving measurable outcomes. The evaluation will in many respects measure our collective ability to translate policy into operational results. Following your approval, a stock-take exercise was recently conducted within the Nigerian police force. We are grateful for the cooperation and openness demonstrated by officers across the force headquarters and various formations during the exercise.
The Inspector General Police Olatunji Disu describes financial intelligence as a necessity in modern law enforcement, saying following the money trail can help disrupt criminal networks and their sources of funding.
We are ever ready to continue to cooperate with you, ever ready to cooperate with the NFI. Financial intelligence is a necessity. We need to collaborate more and share intelligence. We need to collaborate and share intelligence because of the security situation we have in the country today, terrorism, banditry, and then even in cases of theft of crude, following their proceeds will assist to bring down the crime to nothing less than 50% of it. Following the money, a lot of their crimes will be solved. So we need to collaborate, we need to continue to see ourselves as symbiotic twins.
Disu said the force has established a proceeds of crime section to strengthen the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing, as both agencies commit to stronger cooperation to keep Nigeria off the Financial Action Task Force grey list. Moving on, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) has intensified efforts to improve Nigeria's anti-corruption rating through institutional reforms and better governance, particularly within the health and education sectors. Adbn's correspondent Beta Bryan brings us the report.
The ICPC and the Center for Social Justice unveiled the follow-up corruption risk assessment system review reports on the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC. The reviews were undertaken under the project Improving the Effectiveness of Anti-Corruption Processes and Reforms, and supported by the European Union, the International IDEA, and the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program. The reports, which build on the 2015 and 2019 system studies and corruption risk assessments of the agencies, shows relative improvements in their compliance levels.
Their true impact is measured by the extent to which they bring about improvements in governance, accountability, transparency, operational efficiency, and service delivery.
In his remarks, Eze Onyekbiri, lead director at Center for Social Justice in Nigeria, underscored the urgent need to develop an integrity plan to guide reform compliance.
The goal of the project, under which we collaborated with ICPC, is to contribute to increase the effectiveness of anti-corruption laws, policies, interventions, and strategies for the entrenchment of reforms at national and subnational levels. The expectation is that this will lead to increased compliance with anti-corruption laws.
A major highlight of the meeting was the unveiling of a report that identifies the deep cause of corruption and leakages in public sector, with the recent surveys by the UNODC and the National Bureau of Statistics highlighting corruption indices of 30% in healthcare and 45% in education, while underscoring the urgent need to address bribery and diversion of resources. From the nation's capital, Beto Bryan, Adbn News.
National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has sealed 3 alcohol manufacturing companies in Ota, Ogun State, for allegedly producing bad sachet and PET bottle alcoholic drinks. The agency said its enforcement team uncovered ongoing production of prohibited products, including cases where previously sealed facilities were allegedly reopened without approval. NAFDAC reaffirmed its commitment to enforcing the federal government's ban and protecting public health by removing illegal alcoholic beverages from circulation. Oyo State government has taken delivery of 2 surveillance aircraft acquired to strengthen security operations and improve intelligence gathering across the state. Commissioner for Information Dotun Oyelade said the aircraft's arrival fulfills the government's earlier promise to have them delivered before the end of July. The aircraft are expected to support security agencies, including the Amotekun Corps, in monitoring criminal activities and enhancing rapid response to security threats across Oyo State. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo has commissioned the newly remodeled Muhammad Adamu Dankwambo domestic terminal at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano. Keyamo said the project reflects President Bola Tinubu's commitment to modernizing Nigeria's aviation infrastructure, describing Kano as a key commercial hub in northern Nigeria. The minister also announced a 46 billion naira approval for the resurfacing and reconstruction of the airport's second runway at Imbat. Upgrades to the Hajj terminal are ongoing as part of efforts to position Kano Airport among leading global aviation facilities. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT Barrister Wike says the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration believes that projects abandoned or left uncompleted by previous administrations should be completed regardless of who awarded them to ensure value for public funds. The minister stated this during an inspection tour of ongoing projects in Abuja to monitor the pace and quality of work. RFCT correspondent Naomi Olerbe, who was part of the inspection, reports.
Barely 2 weeks after the conclusion of the 31-day project commissioning exercise, the Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has resumed a fresh round of inspections of projects scheduled for commissioning in December. One of the major stops was the road project with 2 interchanges linking Nnamdi Azikiwe Expressway and Goodluck Jonathan Expressway, leading to Galadimawa. The project was awarded in December 2014. The minister says his administration will continue to develop infrastructure that will transform the landscape of Abuja, regardless of the administration that initiated such projects.
So continue to dialogue with the Minister of Finance to see how we'll be able to, pay off the contractor for them to finish that project. It's very, very big, very, very key to us, very, very key to us. And that, of course, will change the entire landscape of the FCT. So,
on River State politics, the minister welcomed Governor Fubara back into the political fold, insisting that the governor had no other choice than to return to the political family that brought him to power.
The second to the last video chat, I did say that the governor had no other choice but to return to the same family that produced him. There was a way I was told that he has made that declaration. We welcome it. We're not shutting our doors. Everybody's welcome for us to work together. But I can tell you, nobody has any alternative. The state is concerned, is Tinubu all the way.
With contractors making steady progress on sites, Barrister Wike said the responsibility now rests with the government to meet its financial obligations and ensure the projects are delivered as scheduled. Naomi Oleribe, Adbn News.
As Nigeria begins preparations for the 2027 elections, stakeholders are raising concerns over the growing threat of misinformation, disinformation, and artificial intelligence-generated content to the country's democratic process. At a UNESCO workshop in Abuja, media professionals, election managers, and civil society groups examined how media and information literacy can help promote peaceful and credible elections. Our diplomatic correspondent tells us more.
As Nigeria gradually turns its attentions to the 2027 elections, the battle for credible elections may begin long before voters arrive at polling units. Well, here at the UN House in Abuja, UNESCO, election stakeholders, journalists, and fact-checkers are examining how misinformation, disinformation, and even AI-generated content could shape public perception and electoral outcomes. The Independent National Electoral Commission says building public confidence begins long before Election Day, stressing that continuous engagement with citizens and stakeholders is essential to safeguarding the integrity of the electoral process.
Our institution, at this period, what we stand to gain, or our goal, is to ensure that every Nigerian is carried along through transparent process and integrity.
Beyond institutions, UNESCO says the responsibility also lies with journalists, digital content creators, political activists, and citizens who play a critical role in verifying information before sharing it.
We are working with UNESCO team and to ensure that we prepare our people, the political parties, the media officers, the media organizations, and all stakeholders who will be at the helm of disseminating information towards election.
Participants at the workshop shared lessons on fact-checking, digital verification, and ethical online engagement, while expressing concerns over the growing influence of false information and emerging technologies on public trust.
I think that should be removed, and INEC should do it directly to the people. Because even putting a middleman, how are you sure your message is being driven to the right people?
All INEC has been doing, you made mention of trust. Why has Nigeria? Don't you think it's because the INEC leadership is being appointed by the president?
This particular stakeholder dialogue has been very enlightening for me. For the first time, I heard about what is called data boys or so, and what they do. And I'm glad that some other stakeholders were here, like INEC and some other persons, because they get to hear from us directly.
Well, the message today is that protecting democracy now means protecting the integrity of information. From the UN House in Abuja, Amma Marcus, Adbn News.
Federal government says it has invested over 1 trillion naira in tertiary education in the past 2 years to expand access and improve learning infrastructure. Education Minister Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausi says the reforms are ensuring that no qualified Nigerian is denied higher education because of financial hardship. Speaking during a meeting with the National Committee for the Advancement of Occupational Therapy, Audiology and Speech Therapy Education, the minister said the Tinubu administration has committed 250 billion naira to new student hostels, over 150 billion naira to rehabilitate academic facilities, more than 130 billion naira for medical schools, and additional funding for medical equipment, simulation laboratories, and engineering workshops nationwide.
The baseline assessment indicated that 6 universities were offering audiology, 5 universities were offering occupational therapy, and 3 universities were offering speech therapy. The committee has commenced consultation aimed at strengthening collaboration among key stakeholders, which include the National University Commission, Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board of Nigeria, Nigerian universities, professional associations.
This is amazing. This is just mind-boggling. What this president has done is revamping tertiary level education. I was spoken about NEFO, but I'm just telling you about real things on investment that this president has made cumulatively. In the last 2 years, over 1 trillion naira has been deployed to a tertiary education, education system, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, in building, in rehabilitating, building infrastructure, and equipping, and also building new hostels. So we're very grateful to the president, and I'm very happy with your work.
Investment or research and skills development, while reaffirming the government's commitment to ensuring that financial hardship does not prevent qualified Nigerians from accessing higher education. You're watching Adbn News at 7. Stay with us for more stories after the break. Welcome back, and now to some health matters. World Hepatitis Day is observed every July 28 to raise awareness about viral hepatitis and encourage prevention, early detection and treatment. Ahead of this year's commemoration, the Edo State government, through the Office of the First Lady, is calling on residents to know their hepatitis status, get tested, and take proactive steps to protect their liver health. To mark the day, the Edo State government has lined up a series of awareness activities, including market sensitization campaigns and community outreach programs aimed at educating residents on hepatitis prevention, transmission, and the importance of early diagnosis.
Edo State, in collaboration with my office and the Ministry of Health, is having a program, and it's taking place in Oba Market to sensitize, yes, to speak on hepatitis, to let them know that it's curable and it's treatable. And that's what we're doing. And tomorrow we're going to have free testing. And for those that test positive, we take responsibility and give them the necessary treatment that they need. Hepatitis is curable. At the same time, we're encouraging everybody get to self-tested. With PHCs are available. Once you're free, then you go and take the normal vaccine. I think there are 3 vaccines. We also encourage mothers to take their vaccines while they're pregnant. And as adults, get to self-tested once you're free. Ensure you take the 3 routine treatment for vaccination for hepatitis.
The 2026 observance highlights the need to eliminate barriers that prevent people from accessing hepatitis testing, vaccination, and treatment. Health experts say viral hepatitis remain preventable, treatable, and in some cases curable, but stigma, poor awareness, and limited access to healthcare continue to hinder efforts to combat the disease. Edo State government has ordered immediate repairs on a damaged section of the Benin bypass after haulage equipment belonging to Buildwell Nigeria Limited destroyed part of the federal highway, disrupting traffic. The company has accepted responsibility and signed an undertaking to repair about 150 meters of the affected road. The state government says it will work with relevant agencies to ensure the repairs meet engineering standards and hold those responsible for damage to public infrastructure accountable.
We have an agreement with them to restate back the road. So initially, it was then no issue about that. Then our company is also aware.
We got a call and we are here with the public protection agency, also with the Edo State Ministry of Works and also with the controller Edo State. So we've also gotten the contractor that was carrying this haulage material, Buildwell. This is their rep, and we have seen what they got for their equipment and their material to go through. And we have all assessed the road depth. And we can see it that this whole thing, in less than 1 week or so, they'll come up with the palliative work and do it also asphalt.
The Federal Controller of Works in Edo State described the damage as unacceptable, noting that the Benin bypass is a federal road currently undergoing rehabilitation by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Edo State Public Property Protection Committee says the haulage equipment involved had been impounded.
Since then, we told them that, look, we've done our own part. We are not engineers. Let the engineer come and do theirs. So until they do it to the satisfaction of the engineers and the special advisor to the government of projects, we will not release their key for them. Our own is to make sure that they do it to their satisfaction.
You can't come overnight and be digging federal road for you to be able to move. So we are here with the collaboration of the State Ministry of Works and other agencies to make sure that this company do the needful in restating the road.
The Edo State Ministry of Works says it will monitor the repairs to ensure quality while Buildwell Nigeria Limited pledged cooperation. The state government reiterated its commitment to protecting public infrastructure and holding offenders accountable. Still in Edo, security operatives have arrested 4 suspected cultists during an early morning raid in a Bayan community over a northeast local government area of Edo State as authorities intensify the crackdown on cult-related violence. The operation was carried out by the Edo State Special Security Squad, codenamed Operation Flush Out Kidnappers and Cultists, alongside other security agencies.
At their house this early morning, when I see they could bust our house, carry all of us, and until we share today. Okay, I'm a member of MBM of Africa. I have an update concerning initiation, but I didn't attend.
I think what brought me is I'm a member of the MBM, New Black Movement of Africa. On the 17th, I don't know what happened on the 17th. I was just lying down in my friend's house this morning when I saw the police. Everybody here can attest to that. I don't know, but for me personally, I don't have idea of these weapons that are here.
I was just at home this morning and I saw policemen came to our house. They said they want to, we should follow them. Since I lost my wife, I have not been having time to do all those, because I only faced my work, because I was trying to get ready this morning before the police came this morning. I might get information, but since then I have not been doing this because I was just on my own, just trying to catch up with my 2 kids.
Security officials said weapons and other incriminating items were recovered during the raid. Although the suspect denied ownership of the weapons, they reportedly admitted belonging to the Aye confraternity. The coordinator of the Special Security Squad, Noah Idemudia, described the operation as another breakthrough in the state's campaign against cultism and violent crime.
We got an intelligence report that some members of the Black Arts Group, New Black Movement, they wanted to carry out some initiation activities and cause mayhem around the Bayan community, which we quickly swift into actions this morning, getting to the said residence where these persons were on the hideout or where they wanted to take off from to commit these atrocities. We found that during the raid we were able to recover these ammunitions and these weapons in front of us. We have been advising from the onset, the public has shown to us that there's a big cooperation amongst, residents, because the intel came from, those that knew about their nefarious activities. And this useful information has helped us in apprehending this. And this would have saved more lives in Edo. So please, your help is highly needed. If you see anything, keep saying it for Edo to remain peaceful.
The suspects remain in custody and are expected to face further investigation. Authorities say the operation underscores the Edo state government determination to stamp out cultism, kidnapping, and other violent crimes, while urging residents to continue supporting security agencies with timely and credible information. And elsewhere, Kwara State Governor Pastor Umar Eno had signed 14 executive bills into law aimed at strengthening governance and improving public service delivery in the state. Signing the bills at the Executive Council Chamber, Government House, Uyo, Governor Umar Eno said the new laws would deepen institutional reforms, enhance transparency, and ensure the continuity of government programs. The bills, which were passed by the Kwara State House of Assembly, provide legal backing for key institutions and reforms under the RISE agenda. They include laws establishing the Kwara State Geographical Information Service, Senior Citizen Center, Hotels and Tourism Development Commission, Emergency Medical Services and Ambulance System Agency, Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, Public Procurement Regulatory Agency, Office of the Public Defender, Internal Revenue Service, and the University of Education, AFAHA, and SIT.
A bill for a law to make provision for the establishment of the Akwa Ibom State Geographical Information Service and for other matters connected therewith. That is the Aqua GIS. A bill for a law to establish Akwa Ibom State Senior Citizens Center to care for the welfare and needs of senior citizens in Akwa Ibom State. A bill for a law to amend the Hospitals Management Board Law 2010 to provide for the establishment of district hospitals, decentralize the Hospitals Management Board into zonal hospital management boards to enhance administrative efficiency and service delivery.
Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Udeme Otong, described the legislation as people-centered, saying they would strengthen governance and improve the lives of residents. He reaffirmed the Assembly's commitment to enacting laws that support the state's development.
Excellency, I want to thank you as a House for thinking well for the people of Akwa Ibom State. Most especially, let me just point out my area, the area of Hospital Management Board, the area of all these health sectors that you have redefined by making sure that we have 3 hospital management boards in the state, the one per senatorial district.
Over 400 women have benefited from a medical outreach organized by the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. The outreach took place at the Senate President's country home in Okana, Esienudim local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Adbn correspondent Precious Ukeje reports.
No fewer than 500 women from the 10 local government areas of Ikodekmene Senatorial District gathered at the pavilion of Senate President Godswill Akpabio's country home in Okana for the medical outreach.
Today is a good day.
The program was organized to provide free medical care to vulnerable women, with 50 beneficiaries selected from each of the 10 local government areas in the district. Medical personnel at the outreach said many of the beneficiaries were treated for conditions such as hypertension and diabetes.
After giving the medications, we encourage them, we counsel them to take your medications.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude to Senator Godswill Akpabio and his wife for making the medical outreach possible.
Today he has set it aside for free medical treatment for the whole senatorial district, and we have never been given this opportunity to have drugs freely.
They want to give us these our meal. What they finished that day, they gave us everything for us to take and enjoy us.
I'm very happy about what God is using this our brother, our sons, and everything to us with the wives to do missionary.
The wives of Esienudim and the Timekbo local government chairman Ofonime Ntiedo Soro and Uime Gideon Owa, as well as the coordinators of the Timekbo and Eka local government women's groups, described the outreach as a timely intervention.
Nurses are taking care of them, they have screened them, they have eaten, they have given them drugs. This is a very important thing because a lot of people doesn't have the money to buy drugs for themselves.
So much has happened in Okana today. The women who are sick have received free medical attention, food, and more. Okana women are praying to God to bless and protect Her Excellency.
This outreach by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio complements these efforts to ensure that vulnerable people are supported where it has to do with healthcare. Precious Ukeje, Adbn News.
Akwa Ibom State Executive Council has approved a 31 billion naira economic empowerment program to support residents across states' 31 local government areas. Briefing Government House correspondent after Monday's Executive Council meeting in Oyo, the Commissioner for Information, Right Honorable Anyekon Umana said 1 billion naira has been allocated to each local government area under the 2026 budget to fund skills acquisition, business grants, agricultural support, SME development, and transport empowerment through the distribution of productive assets. Adbn correspondent Mary Onyemechi reports.
The Akwa Ibom State Executive Council considered reports and approved recommendations from various ministries, including the rollout of the 31 billion naira and transport operators across the state. The Commissioner for Information, Right Honorable Anyekon Umana, said a committee chaired by the Secretary to the state government will oversee the implementation of the program to ensure transparency and effective delivery.
Details of the program comprises youth skills acquisition program, training and startup tax provision, women cooperative business support, traders business grants.
And in line with the promise of His Excellency to all the local government, 1 billion naira is earmarked for each of the local government. And it's meant basically to reduce poverty, promote economic condition of our people.
Council also received a briefing from the Commissioner for Sports, Honorable Paul Bassi, on preparations for the forthcoming Akwa Ibom State Sports Festival. Governor Omoina congratulated athletes representing the state at the ongoing Commonwealth Games, reaffirming the government's support and expressing pride in their performances.
Ididion Omofia, who won the gold medal in the 71 kg weightlifting category. The Executive Council was glad that these are products of the last sports festival hosted by the state.
The Executive Council further reviewed progress under the state of emergency in the health sector. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Ekem John, disclosed that the administration has recruited 2,854 health workers, completed 29 primary health care centers, and is currently upgrading 17 additional facilities across the state.
When you look at what we're doing in terms of reforms, we're tackling reforms from different pillars. We're looking at effective governance, we're looking at human resources for health, under effective governance, as part of effective governance over the establishment laws for the Akwa Ibom State Ambulance Agencies.
Council also approved 18th December as the date for the 2026 Christmas Unplugged Festival and has endorsed plans for a statewide solar-powered rural water scheme. Mary Onyemechi, Adbn News.
Moving on, Anambra State government has set up an investigation panel to determine the cause of the collapse of a private student hostel near the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, which has claimed at least 2 lives. The panel, made up of professionals in the building sector, including engineers, architects, and town planners, will investigate the cause of the collapse and examine other buildings in the area suspected of having structural defects. The government said anyone found responsible will face prosecution while rescue operations continue on the site as some occupants remain unaccounted for. Authorities also warn that unsafe buildings across the state will be identified and demolished. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has nominated the executive chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Jerry Adams, as his running mate for the 2027 governorship election. Sani said the decision followed wide consultations and was based on Adams' competence, integrity, and contributions to strengthening the state's revenue system. The nomination also marks the APC's return to a Christian deputy governorship candidate after Muslim tickets in the 2019 and 2023 elections. The governor described Adams as an institution builder committed to public service, saying the choice reflects his administration's focus on inclusion, fairness, and equitable representation across Kaduna State. You're watching Adbn News at 7. Still ahead, business, foreign, sports, and entertainment stories. Stay with us. The Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream is calling for new legislation to strengthen Nigeria's energy security as the country expands its domestic refining capacity. The committee says the proposed legal framework will support local refining, reduce dependence on imported fuel, and enhance long-term energy sustainability. Adbn's Larva More reports.
The committee says it is working on legislation to address the challenges surrounding fuel importation and domestic refining. It also says the reforms are aimed at ensuring energy security, stable fuel supply, and fair competition through consultations with industry stakeholders.
We are committed towards a well-defined and clear legislation in a bid to resolve all issues to ensure stability. A technical committee is drafting the legislation and amendments.
Following, NMDPRA published practical operation stock guidelines under Section 182 of the PIA, including how stock will be measured, reported, quality assured, and assessed for accessibility. Such guidelines should recognize the real benefit of stock and its ability to be safely released.
Stakeholders backed domestic refining but urged the government to retain fuel importation to prevent supply disruptions. They also called for improved fuel distribution, greater market transparency, and stronger safety measures across the downstream sector.
1. Strengthen domestic refining while preserving healthy market competition. 2. Ensure direct, equitable access by marketers to locally refined petroleum products.
Local refining is absolutely necessary in the country. The government of Nigeria, however, must retain the regulatory control to decide when it should allow imports, where imports serves the country's interest best.
The committee says consultations will continue before finalizing legislation expected to improve fuel supply, strengthen market competition, and provide balanced framework for domestic refining and fuel importation. Larva More, Adbn News.
Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council, NSCDC, Kamar Barkin, has warned that Nigeria must urgently reduce the cost of manufacturing or risk losing out on opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. Speaking at the 17th National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment in Enugu, Barkin said improving industrial competitiveness is critical to boosting production, export and job creation. Our business correspondent, Osim Raphael, has details.
According to the Executive Secretary of NSDC, Nigeria's manufacturing sector contributes only about 8% of GDP, while capacity utilization stands at 57.7%. This despite the country's 230 million population and duty-free access to 1.4 billion consumers under the AFCFTA. In his paper presentation, the Executive Secretary said Nigeria's challenge is not a lack of market demand, but the high cost of production. He noted that manufacturers spend an estimated 1.34 trillion naira annually generating their own electricity, with industrial power costing between 15 and 30 US cents per kilowatt hour, compared with 8 cents in Vietnam and 10 cents in China. He added that high lending rates and poor logistics continue to undermine Nigeria's competitiveness.
We as a country do not have a demand problem. We have a cost of production problem. Let me explain. Think about it. We have a domestic market size of 230 million people. Africa's largest consumer market is here. We have another 1.4 billion people around us with opportunity to be supplied duty-free under AFCFTA. Nobody on this continent needs to be persuaded to buy the goods we make in Nigeria. Our problem is that we overpay to manufacture those goods. And manufacturing is only 8% of the GDP. So the thing is that the demand exists, but the costs are the barrier.
Bakrin said recent macroeconomic reforms have improved economic stability, citing foreign reserves of about $51 billion, the highest since 2009, and easing inflation as positive signals for investors. He urged government at all levels to establish dedicated power for industrial clusters, provide single-digit financing for manufacturers.
AFCFTA has removed the fence around our markets. Let's be mindful of this. From now on, it's either goods are crossing our borders or goods are coming into the country. We're either going to compete or we're going to concede the market.
The NSDC says implementing the proposed reforms will lower production costs, boost local manufacturing, expand Nigeria's exports, and create millions of jobs growing workforce. Awesome Raffle, Adbn News.
And on the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived at the White House for talks with U.S. President Donald Trump, focusing on the Iran war, regional security, and efforts to stabilize the Middle East. The meeting marks the first face-to-face discussion between the two leaders since the conflict between the United States and Iran began. Washington has paused recent hostilities to allow room for negotiations, while Israel has stayed out of the latest clashes. The leaders are also expected to discuss Gaza, the implementation of a U.S.-backed Israel-Lebanon framework deal, and wider efforts to address the region's growing humanitarian and security challenges. Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS, has warned that declining global funding, rising inequality, and human rights challenges are putting decades of progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS at risk. The agency's executive director, Winifred Binyamia, said scientific breakthroughs have made it possible to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030, but reduced investment could reverse gains in prevention and treatment. The warning was contained in UNAIDS' latest report presented at the International AIDS Conference in Rio de Janeiro, which highlighted funding disruptions and unequal access to healthcare as major threats to ending the epidemic. The League of African Ambassadors is expanding the frontiers of diplomacy by using sports and other initiatives to promote continental cooperation and development. Speaking at a briefing in Abuja, the League's president, Ambassador Nwanebike Ominyi Eze, said the organization is creating platforms for diplomatic dialogue, knowledge sharing, youth empowerment, and stronger intra-African relations. He said the League's fundraising golf program is designed to advance sport diplomacy, build partnerships, and mobilize resources for African development.
Africa is endowed with enormous human and natural resources, a youthful population, expanding markets, and immense potential for economic and social transformation. The League believes that African diplomacy must help convert these opportunities into tangible benefits.
The inaugural Volleyball Golfing Country Club, Uyo, the plans to expand to 11 African countries. Organizers say the event is expected to attract about 150 participants, including diplomats, government officials, business leaders, and development partners.
Our retired ambassadors, diplomats, government representatives, corporate leaders, and development partners and friends of Africa can come together to build relationships and support programs consistent with the League's continental mission.
Ambassador Eze also called for a review of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, saying African countries should have greater influence in global space governance. He said the move aligns with the League's broader goal of increasing Africa's role in shaping international policies and emerging global debates.
At least give nationals a certain distance of the sovereignty, so they decide what happens to it as it is written in the law of the sea. Where you have a national territorial waters, you have a continental flank, and you have an exclusive economic zone. Those three things now are the purview of the country. So
the League of African Ambassadors says the golf tournament is more than a sporting event, describing it as a platform to strengthen diplomacy, partnerships, and Africa's global voice. Observers say the initiative reflects a changing phase of diplomacy with greater focus on people-to-people connections, business collaboration, and innovative approaches to advancing African integration and development. Defending champions Nigeria Super Falcons will begin the defense of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations title against tournament debutants Malawi women's national football team at the Al Medina Stadium in Rabat tonight. The Super Falcons, Africa's most successful women's national team, are aiming to retain the title they won last year after coming from behind to defeat host Morocco 3-2 in